For a lot of 2022, a lot of people have made many posts and inquiries about who are some of the actual most skilled fighters in fiction, even taking it to the point that they just want to know who would win in a fight in a huge tournament if they were all just as strong as normal people and had no actual powers. Goku, Baki, Saitama, Naruto, Batman, Toriko, Ichiko, Superman, and so many others. Recently, I actually saw another post about Goku versus Rock Lee that had people sort of going at it, and while I don't really think Goku versus Rock Lee would actually be that good, which I'll get into in this video, trust me, it did definitely make me think of something which is probably a little more interesting, so let's get into it.
Alright, now I have something very important to tell you before you keep watching this video, and that's today's sponsor, Rosetta Stone. Now this has so many different uses, including overseas use. Use Rosetta Stone to communicate with locals in the area you're living or visiting, and you can use the Rosetta Stone app on your phone to top up your learning on the go, which can also help you feel prepared entering a conversation in a country and language you haven't visited before. That is something that will be generally helpful, and you will thank me later. Now, you anime fans, you can use Rosetta Stone to help you communicate with other anime fans around the entire world, in which you can talk about your favorite characters and just generally share your own thoughts or feelings in almost any language. You can also, which can help towards some issues that happen a lot when watching an anime. Sometimes there's a mistranslation, which can kind of ruin how the character is actually written. So with Rosetta Stone, you can enjoy a full experience without subtitles or even translators. Enjoy the voice acting and so forth. Rosetta Stone helps you understand the words and phrases in Japanese that can't be translated to a different language, allowing you to fully enjoy your watching experience. You can go get Rosetta Stone down in the description, but lucky enough, Rosetta Stone has given a lifetime offer, which was $299 to now just $179. Go and enjoy a helpful tool for your life and your entertainment. Thank you.
Goku is interesting because many people surprisingly look down on him when it comes to hand-to-hand ability in a fight. I'm not joking when I say that most people think that if he didn't have anime powers, super strength, etc., and was just an athletic human, he'd just be a peak kickboxer or something. And one goal of this video for sure is to dispel that notion entirely, and I think you guys will be pretty surprised about the level Goku is actually at and what he can do with raw intuition in a fight that makes him superhuman even without powers. The first thing you need to know about Goku is that all of the opponents he faces in original Dragon Ball before the aliens from space start appearing are insanely experienced martial artists, all of them training for decades on end and going to an actual world tournament where all martial artists on Earth that use all different styles from wrestling, striking, or this to see what martial artists and styles the strongest around. And in fact, when the aliens do appear, it is actually a point of focus that the Earthlings have advantages that the aliens never had to learn. And at a certain point, fighting styles in these Earthlings World Tournaments or Tenkaichi Budokais become irrelevant for most opponents, as the characters become so strong they can just tap on who they're facing and send them flying across the arena out of bounds. But Goku isn't always stronger than his opponents, and not every opponent he's ever faced was gifted with high power since they were born. Many of these opponents include the actual Earthlings in the main cast, such as Krillin, who originally was a runt at a martial arts temple, Yamcha the Desert Bandit, Tien Shinhan from the Crane School, Mercenary Tao, and of course Master Roshi. Master Roshi in particular living way beyond the lifespan of most humans to become a martial arts god, at least on Earth, creating new techniques like the Kamehameha as just a normal human after 50 years of practice, learning how to put people to sleep just by waving his hands around, and knowing numerous martial arts from grappling and so on a world level. But that's just the thing, that 50 years of practice. Well, Goku could do it instantly upon seeing it. Now, you could say that's just because he's an alien, it's a gag, and it's in their biology to easily learn how to shoot blasts or something. But the other prodigy fighters do it pretty shortly after as well. This level of adaptation is actually Goku's greatest strength, the ability to adapt to styles and techniques that take decades to learn in mere moments in a fight. His instinct and intuition is a huge focus of his combat ability. As the series goes on, this intuition of Goku goes to a divine level, to the point that gods and people training the afterlife for thousands to tens of thousands of years are something Goku can adapt to within a single tournament. Even his famous Kaioken is something nobody else has ever been able to do, even with said tens of thousands of years of training, even though it's mainly just the manipulation of your internal energies and it has nothing to do with his biology at all. The most famous example of his intuitive fighting style is of course against Hit, probably one of the most underrated hand-to-hand feats I've seen in a long time. This feat is him against an assassin from another universe entirely named Hit, and Hit is over 1,000 years old and is an assassin so proficient he can skip through time and can one-shot beings that can literally punch away universes with just pressure points and precision. Goku has faced him twice. The first time, Hit is not allowed to kill him, so he can't go all out, and then the second, he is allowed to, and even almost does. But during this, Goku learns how to predict a guy skipping into the literal future with precision to kill him in just his normal form, despite Hit's thousands plus years of experience actually fighting. Not only this, but Goku straight up tells Hit he is predicting him so that Hit will even try to mix him up, and he is still able to predict Hit randomly appearing at any spot in the future to hit him off the dome. That's the type of intuition you're signing up for when you face someone like Goku, so just going to kickboxing class and learning some basic striking techniques probably won't let you scrap with someone like him, even with thousands of years of practice. But he actually goes one step further, and that is with his Ultra Instinct technique. So I'm not sure if this is considered a power or not for this type of video, so I'll let you guys decide. I'm going to explain it anyway for those that don't consider it a power. Now, the white hair transformation he actually undergoes would be technically a power. It's like power up, but the actual fighting technique Ultra Instinct is considered basically just raw hand skill and not a superpower, so it's a bit debatable. This is something that many gods like Beerus, a god of destruction that is considered a warrior god, couldn't master in almost 75 million years of living. Yeah, I'm not joking. Goku learns a technique warrior gods haven't in millions of years and arguably a couple of minutes in the Tournament of Power. But this is due to his former training with many gods and masters like the god of Earth Kami, the god of the Northern Galaxy, North Kai, or King Kai, and Angel, Whis, and even Beerus himself at one point, finally culminating into his actual raw fight skill at the end of Dragon Ball Super, whereas before he just threw his power around for a lot of Z, trying to get new transformations or master his energy levels, but now he's learning that raw fight skill is actually important too. Whereas with these skills, he can take the power of a Spirit Bomb that Jiren, the strongest mortal warrior in the multiverse, could easily blink away, to actually giving him a fight landing blows and forcing Jiren to actually activate enough of his power that his aura appears, even though it's the same level of strength as something Jiren could blink away. To go into more detail, UI is something that allows you to face people above your pay grade, period. That's kind of the point. And this is most accurately shown in his fight with a fused super warrior from the same universe as Hit, named Kefla. In this fight, we see that even though Kefla is so powerful she can kill Goku in literally one hit, which is stated, Goku can still react to and even damage her, which is completely unheard of in Dragon Ball for the most part without specific moves. Examples like Krillin's Destructo Disc, etc. But this is more impressive as it is pure striking. The Ultra Instinct technique lets Goku move so accurately and fluidly he can dodge Kefla like she's an amateur, but he doesn't actually have his striking mastered in Instinct, so his punches don't actually hurt her and aren't nearly on the level of his evasion. His punches are more akin to his actual level of strength, or what he should be able to output, yet with UI he's able to amp his evasion to that level. However, with the full UI, it's implied that his raw skill alone would then make him simply be able to strike with such proficiency he could damage people on Kefla's level, even if he had the same actual power level with just strength. We also see this in the same tournament that Sun faces the unfused fighter from Kefla, Caulifla, in his normal state, while she is a Super Saiyan 2, and a Super Saiyan 2 is 100 times the power, speed, and durability of a Saiyan's base form, and Goku is then shown fighting her. You could say that Goku is simply very strong in just his normal form, which I would agree with, but other characters like another Angel who uses Instinct, Vados, says that Goku is actually just so skilled he can beat a higher transformed Saiyan despite not transforming himself, while Champa is in utter confusion about it, another warrior god that's millions of years old. So if you think that it's being implied Goku is only using skill and he and Caulifla are actually relative in base, then Goku is overcoming a 100 times difference in power, speed, and durability with raw skill alone. And Ultra Instinct would only take this further on steroids. Not only this, but UI also amplifies all of his evolutionary intuition, so all of those intuitive feats against Hit, Roshi, and so on would only be even crazier. Batman's reputation as a fighter is honestly a lot more well known and understood, more so than Goku's. The version of Batman I'll be using will be the current Infinite Frontier version, wherein he had all the memories of the handful of main continuity and iterations of the character, and should therefore scale to the bulk of their feats. That being said, we'll be drawing from a well of nearly 80 years of Batman appearances, so there are bound to be some unimpressive showings from the Dark Knight. However, it's safe to say that he's most consistently depicted as a top-tier fighter in the verse, with not many being able to eclipse his expertise. He's also constantly training and improving, so trying to cherry-pick anti-feats doesn't make too much sense when analyzing him in his current form or how he fights most consistently. In around a 12-year span, Bruce Wayne learned and mastered all known and many secret martial arts techniques, alongside his time spent honing his various other skills. However, this is pretty basic in comparison to the Dark Knight's more impressive showings. For example, Deathstroke, someone Batman has stalemated very recently, was able to master virtually every fighting style in a year's time. He has the ability to read and predict an opponent's actions through their body language, as well as air current, similar to Goku in early Dragon Ball actually, and he can recognize fighting styles on the spot, perceiving the origin points and natures of many different disciplines with a glance. He can move and fight with no conscious thought, simply reacting through pure instinct. In the Fortnite crossover comics, which yes, are canon, Fortnite is canon here, I'm not joking, Batman's memories are completely erased and he still manages to fight against highly skilled combatants. Not only that, but he's sent through a persistent loop in which he perpetually forgets the last fight he endured, and each time using completely different moves and techniques over and over and over again, showing his just raw versatility. Tim Drake, the third Robin, was stated to be mostly reactive to someone perpetually seeing 5 seconds into the future. This Robin being fodder to Batman, meaning Batman would fare better against this level of foresight. The Dark Knight's pressure points are so potent that they can down Solomon Grundy, a Green Lantern, and Superman level threat throughout the years. Pressure points are techniques intended to bypass conventional durability by targeting things such as nerve clusters, so this wouldn't scale to Batman's actual strength. To Superman, it's more of a skill-based hack, if anything. Against the Batman who laughs, an alternate universe version of himself boasting all of his own skills, he was able to adapt and create an entirely new fighting style effective against his doppelganger. Nightwing, Batman's first protege and someone he was just seen trading hands with, was able to get the better of a character named Midnighter in hand-to-hand, Midnighter being capable of running up to 1,000,000 different combat scenarios before a fight ever happens, opting to exercise what he sees as the best outcome. And Batman would scale above this level of precognition and analysis. Furthermore, Batman is able to combat Karate Kid multiple times, once in an environment with zero gravity, something Batman has no experience fighting in at that point, with the Legionnaire stating he could learn much from Batman. Karate Kid says he could learn not some, or a little, much from Batman. Karate Kid is a master of every martial art in the entire galaxy in the 31st century, with his fellow Legionnaire, Brainiac 5, having the lowest combat score of their entire team. Brainiac is, of course, a 12th level intellect, meaning he has more knowledge than the entire planet Earth put together. Karate Kid is more skilled than that, and he could even still learn much from Batman. Some sources even state 12th level intellects as having more knowledge than anyone in even the entire universe. The fact that Karate Kid hails from the 31st century is important, seeing as the complexities of martial arts typically increase over time. Take the average modern day boxer and pit him against one from like the 1930s or something. Not only that, but the galaxy of the 31st century is well connected, with many alien species all forming a galactic collective. Karate Kid even has specific moves adopted from these otherworldly cultures, meaning he likely has multiple planet worth of skills on top of being from the far future. Goku too has skills from various planets, but they tend to be more in the form of superpowers than martial arts skills, so it's hard to say how much they actually matter for this video. Examples being like Yardrat instant transmission, etc. The Caped Crusader as well scales to a measure of Wonder Woman's skill, seeing as the two have sparred many times throughout the years, with the Dark Knight managing to keep up and counterattack her assaults pretty consistently. Wonder Woman is, of course, withholding her strength so she doesn't just murder Batman or blitz him or something. She's just trying to test her martial arts skill against her teammate, and this is insanely impressive even with just that, as Wonder Woman is actually a match for Ares, the god of war. And Ares has been stated to know every single military tactic and strategy from the beginning of time. In certain stories, the birth of gods like Zeus and Ares are stated to have been around 5 billion years in the past. However, seeing as Mount Olympus and other divine and realms transcend the DC multiverse and even the Speed Force, an energy field that allows for time travel throughout the entirety of time. This should simply mean Ares has purview of all time outright. Even certain writers for DC's websites state Ares as being as skilled in martial arts as anyone could possibly be, which would include from the beginning to the end of time, given Ares' position in the DC cosmology. Of course, Ares and Wonder Woman are stronger than Batman, and Wonder Woman may be the superior fighter, but the fact that Diana sees Batman as a worthy sparring partner either means she considers his skill level as worthy to test herself, hone herself, or she's been teaching Batman throughout their encounters. The world's greatest detective has even been showing dodging attacks from Diana while managing business calls and talking to other crime fighters over his communicator. Another encounter sees Batman dodging and ear striking a blindfolded Wonder Woman, her skills being such that the loss of her sight is no hindrance at all. Either way, this is an insane level of skill showcased by our Dark Knight. So, with both Goku and Batman's prowess having been explained, who would actually win? Well, genuinely, while Goku is underrated by many people, Batman is probably on another level, and he pretty much has something to counter Goku at every turn. For example, Goku's feat against Hit's time skip, which is one of his probably more impressive things he's ever done, wouldn't actually be much compared to Batman's own ability to predict at what point someone would arrive from the straight up future, even ignoring Robin's ability to somewhat keep up with someone with a similar ability to hit. I see this fight most likely playing out like this. The two will start trading hands, with Batman's far greater depth of knowledge proving outright superior to Goku, who by the time Goku starts to adapt, which he probably could adapt to any martial art, Batman would simply just switch to another style in all likelihood, if not just adapt himself, as of course Batman is a super intelligent genius, and this applies to his fighting ability. Goku would essentially accumulate too much damage, only possibly turning the tide against perhaps a single style, with Batman having up to 127 different fighting methods to fall back on any time. Even things like, of course, pressure point attacks and damage Goku could probably adapt to, as we see in his fight with Granola. The only thing that's questionable if Goku could, of course, adapt to is maybe certain types of submission holds, which would incapacitate him. However, the Dark Knight would even possibly have some measure of infinite options, giving his scaling to Wonder Woman and Ares' skill levels. Goku would simply get outmatched before he could ever hope to adapt to a fraction of that, and of course, Goku's adaptation is insane, adapting to thousands, possibly millions of years in a few minutes, but Batman actually boasts ability shared with Goku, such as autonomous movement, precognition, and adaptation, and was able to scale to and combat someone utilizing deadlier versions of all his skills in the Batman Who Laughs. And honestly, even disregarding all the different techniques Batman has in his arsenal, he'd probably just outclass Goku in just straight brawling based on feats. And in conclusion, I mean, let's just get real. Batman's entire 80+ year run in this comic series is him fighting with basically just his hands and tools. So him having to fight superhero level enemies as basically almost a normal dude obviously should probably mean he has a lot more going on. Now, not always, but in this case, it does add up that way. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something about Goku. Maybe you have a little bit more respect for his hands, and other than that, until next time.